Hey guys, welcome back. So now we finally reached the conclusion of Benjamin Percy's Predator vs. Wolverine series. And it is nuts. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week. And don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications so we can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so coming back, we continue to do the time jump between the modern day and moments from Wolverine's past. So starting out, as we're told it's the present day, but we're really continuing from 1 week ago in Canada, when Wolverine took the Predator's helmet out of that lead box to lure the Predator out for one last round. Cause as it turns out, when Wolverine did this, he waited here for a week until the Predator finally showed up. And initially when it did, the Predator was wearing the skull mask that we saw it wearing before at Murasa's estate, and the story behind that's kind of crazy, but we'll get to it. But with the Predator arriving here around your present day, Wolverine set up a trap for it, an ambush. But not so much for the purpose of this trap actually catching the Predator, because Wolverine knew the Predator would expect a trap. He knew this thing was expecting to walk into some kind of danger. So by design, this trap was laid out for the Predator to find and avoid. So for a brief moment, he would gain a sense of confidence and let his guard down, which in a way is a bit of foreshadowing to the long game that Wolverine's playing. Because he goes on to say that he needs to get hit. Wolverine needs his blood on the ground, because once the Predator's got a taste of it and he's got his helmet back, the big guy's gonna think that he already won. And that's precisely how this goes, because Wolverine takes a hit, and as soon as he takes off, the Predator goes for that helmet. Because like he had mentioned before, technology's been the Yautja's failing. So by letting him get his helmet back, Wolverine just sees it as giving the Predator the tools of his own downfall. And you can tell the big guy's fallen for it so far, because he's so happy to get that helmet back after all these years. But just after this, we go back to Logan's memory from the Muramasa estate. And as soon as this picks back up, we see Wolverine yelling out to Muramasa, telling him a little help will be nice, only for Muramasa to tell him this is not my enemy. And I just imagine Wolverine fighting the Predator right here while telling Muramasa like, but you said at the end of the last issue, we would fight together. And right there, Muramasa's just like,
I lied.
And I mean, not really, but that's how it feels right now. Because as Logan's teacher, Muramasa doesn't want to step in and rob Wolverine of this learning experience, so he stays off to the side. But he's still coaching here and there because he got some things to say. Because for starters, he tells Wolverine that this enemy has studied his fighting style with his claws, and he's come here imitating what he's learned, so it's likely somebody's gonna die today. But this fight will determine which one of them is the better student, and whoever dies, Muramasa's just gonna forge their soul into his next blade. And he's like, either way, he's entertained. But it's not as if Muramasa wants Wolverine to die here, because he continues to coach him on by telling him if he wants to know that he's the best between them, then he'll finish this fight with his claws and his anger sheathed. And you can tell as soon as Wolverine finds that focus, he catches a rhythm here. But Wolverine also goes on to say that seeing this Predator's new helmet that was made out of a bear's skull, it reminded him of a bear that needed help and didn't get it. I mean, he ain't say it like that, but it is the bear's skull. And all in all, this Predator's new armor, it's him making a statement that says he's come here to finish what he began. But as they're fighting, it comes to the point where the Predator uses a plasma cannon, which knocks Wolverine's sword out of his hands. And as soon as that happens, Wolverine's like, man, bump this, I'm using claws. But as soon as he pops claws, the Predator cloaks himself and he takes off, which at first has Wolverine thinking that the Predator's just running from him, but instead it's because the Predator only came here to fight him. So now with the Predator taking off, it's because the hand showed up. And looking back, Wolverine sees this as a moment where his enemy saved his life. And after this, we jump forward to another era in Wolverine's past, which now brings us to Westchester, New York, at Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. And I love the way that Wolverine paints the picture here, because he says that his enemies saved him in Japan, but it was his friends who trapped him in New York, which to me just goes to show how much his heart was truly here at the time. Because right now, as all the students are eating dinner, Wolverine stepped outside to make his rounds and just check for intruders to make sure the kids are safe, but eventually Charles comes outside to tell him that he should come in and finish his dinner, because the students spend half the time looking at Wolverine's empty chair, especially Kurt and Kitty. Which right there just pulls on my heartstrings, because you know Wolverine's relationship with the both of them is special. But while Charles is out here, 3 dots show up on his forehead, so Wolverine tackles him out of the wheelchair, like, get down, yeah, as a blast comes through, nearly taking Charles out. And it has me thinking, because I never thought about this as a kid, but it has me thinking now as an adult, the insurance policy on Xavier's school had to be through the roof. as many times as this place has been attacked and destroyed. But following this first blast, the Predator sends out 4 missiles, which cause even more damage, raising the deductible. So next, Colossus comes out to see what's going on. So Wolverine tells him to grab Charles and take him somewhere safe, preferably downstairs, as Wolverine rushes upstairs to check on the kids who were near the blast area. And though most of the kids were able to make their way downstairs safely, Wolverine ends up finding Kitty Pryde, who's a bit out of it from the blast. But as he's checking on her to see if she's okay, the Predator catches him from behind, and after a stun hit that was a bit of a cheap shot, just after it then goes to stab Wolverine, only for Nightcrawler to make his way in the room and bamf Wolverine out of there just in time to take him downstairs with the other students. And right here, Wolverine just goes off, telling Kurt and everyone else here to stay out of this, which truly just shows you how much love and fear Wolverine was feeling in this moment for them, because he doesn't want anything to happen to these kids. And as he starts to head back upstairs, Kurt tells him that he doesn't have to do this alone, but Wolverine just refuses Kurt's help, and he tells him that this only proves what he believed before, which for Wolverine was the thought of him being here putting everyone in danger. And just after this, upstairs, we see that the Predator has Rogue hostage, and she looks at Wolverine and tells him that she can take off her glove and touch him, she can help, but he's just like no, and he tells the Predator to take him instead. And so the Predator drops the little handcuff things, and I'm just like, oh, look at this, out here negotiating with terrorists. But just outside, as the Predator takes Wolverine to his ship, another Wolverine comes running up. And to the Predator's surprise, the one that's running up is the real Wolverine. Cause from the encounter with Rogue, where he made the exchange for Logan, it was actually Danny Moonstar. So next, Nightcrawler bamps out here, he's pulling tubes. Kitty Pryde comes in with a sneak attack from underneath, she's hitting soft spots, and with the Predator taken down, Rogue just touches him. But eventually, after some time passes, the Predator's able to cloak himself and get away. And as he does, I just imagine he thinking to himself, I ain't never, ever coming back to this school. Walking back to the ship like, man, them kids had me scared. But I held my own, bump that. And from here, we go forward to the present day for the final showdown, in a moment that takes place after all the present day encounters we've seen so far. Because right now, the Predator's still trying to track down Wolverine after he got away from under those rocks in the water. And at this point, Wolverine mentions that he's aware of the Predator being able to pick up heat signatures and that mud could be used as a cloaking device. But when the Predator sees an eye peeking at him from a mud-covered figure, he goes to stab it, only to find that it's just an eye, as a one-eyed Wolverine jumps on the Predator's back, destroying his plasma cannon and shoulder armor. Cause Wolverine said, nah, I'm not doing the Arnold Schwarzenegger hiding in the mud. I'm Wolverine. I'm gonna take one eye out and have it just sitting by the water waiting for you. Like that was genius. And I highly doubt that this Predator has seen anyone do that before. But what this does, it creates the scene where now the Predator has to fight Wolverine with its blades versus his. So he pulls out his claws and his ceremonial dagger against Wolverine and his adamantium claws. And the two of these guys are just tearing each other up. But only one of them's got a really good healing factor. So for the Predator, he knows he's fatally wounded. So part of his tradition as a hunter, he starts to count down on his wrist, because the way he sees it, at this point, he's gonna have to collect this trophy from the grave. And as it counts down, Wolverine, he doesn't understand the language, but he recognizes the countdown. And in these final seconds, he just hopes that the Predator takes this L all the way to hell by himself, because after the insane explosion that just completely obliterates the Predator, days later, after Wolverine is reformed his body on top of his adamantium skeleton, at this point, he feels a great deal of emptiness, because there was just something about knowing that the Predator was out there that gave him a rush, and now it's gone. And he knows the Predator had that same feeling too, and all Logan can do now is just hope that the Predator feels that emptiness in death. But after it's all said and done, Wolverine emerges with the Predator's ceremonial blade, of which he plans to keep as a trophy to remember this fight that lasted over a century, and to remind him of his keen edge every day of his life going forward. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/DopeSpill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.